Hey, welcome back. So I finished assembling that stair carriage. Let me turn this around, show it to you, and wrap up this project. There is the finished carriage, the stair carriage. There's 3 stringers in that. Each one of those stringers is SPF construction grade number 2, 2x12s. You saw me lay them out earlier and cut them. They've all been assembled together. Each one has 9 rises and 8 runs going down through there. They're assembled at the bottom and at the top with a 2x6 pressure treated cleat. The cleats that I use are treated. This is going to be sitting against concrete. I don't want to take any chance that moisture is going to wick its way up through the concrete into my SPF lumber. So I've installed cleats on the bottom side. Because there's such a large cut at the bottom there, instead of just using one 2x6, I used a double 2x6 to spread that load out evenly across both of those plates and transfer that load down into the concrete floor. You saw earlier that I made a 3-inch allowance, but now that the cleats are on the bottom and the tread is sitting on top of that, I'm back to my 7 7/16 rise. And when all the treads go on, they'll all also have a 7 7/16 rise all the way up through there, very repetitive. At the top, I added that cleat. I also added that to the back, not to the inside. I could have added it on the inside here and then notched out the center stringer. I didn't choose to do it that way. I chose to put it on the back so that there's no chance that this can contact the block wall and there's no moisture can work its way through into my SPF. So I have a nice moisture break here with the treated up against the block wall. I installed this 2x6 with a combination of screws and nails. I used 3-inch square drive Teflon coated deck screws, 2 screws, and 3 16D galvanized nails. Remember, screws have great holding power but very low shear strength. Nails have great shear strength, but they don't have quite the holding power, so I like to use a combination of both. I could have also, instead of using the screws, I could have went with a twist nail, galvanized twist nail, or a ring shank nail, but I prefer to use the screw and nail combination. You notice there's a little gap on the bottom here. That gap won't remain there. There's going to be a ledger board, a 2x6 treated ledger board that's going to be installed directly to the block wall. And then this will sit on top of that ledger board, so I have a transfer of load on from here onto my ledger board. The ledger board will be installed with a Tapcons, 1/4-inch Tapcons, and then this sits on top of that. This will also be screwed in with Tapcons to the block wall, but I don't want to rely on just those Tapcons to hold it to the wall. I want to have a ledger board, so I have a little redundancy here. Construction, we like to have redundancy, so if one system fails, there's something to back it up to make sure that the whole system doesn't collapse on you. And that ledger board underneath here transfers that load down and adds some redundancy to the anchoring system. So there's the breakdown of it. I didn't put the risers and treads on yet. It's much easier to move, transport, install. It's a lot lighter, and I can get inside there and actually work on it. There's the ledger board that's going with it. That's going to get mounted to the wall, that 2x6 treated, and there's a pile of treads and risers ready to go as well. So let's talk about the time I had involved in this thing. So I need a little note here on my scrap piece of wood, carpenter's pad. So to get my materials, it took about a half hour. I went over to CC Allison. I picked up all my materials right over there. It cost $143.77 for all the materials for this project. The calculations took under 10 minutes. I estimated it at 15, so that's 0.25 hours. The layout and the cutting took about 45 minutes to lay it all out and cut all the stringers. I didn't show it to you earlier, but after I cut that with a circular saw, I finished this cut up with a Sawzall. Now you can use a Sawzall, you can use a jigsaw, you can use a hand saw. I had so many to cut, I just used a Sawzall with a fine tooth wood cutting blade, so I had a nice clean cut. So it took about 45 minutes to do the layout and the cutting. The assembly itself of the carriage took about a half hour, and then I'm estimating about an hour to install it. It should take far less than an hour to install it. It should maybe 45 minutes at most, I'm thinking, to put it in, but I've estimated an hour for that. And then, so that comes up to about 3 hours. So I have 3 hours. So I have 2 hours in the actual design and building of it, an hour to install it, that's 3 hours. And then I added in an hour for travel time, so I'm about 4 hours. This project from start to finish will take about 4 hours. Now you can charge whatever you want, depends on where you live in the country. Carpenters charge anywhere from $25 to $50 an hour, depending on where you're living. So the rate that I'm going to charge for this particular project is about $150. So I'm going to charge $150. I have 4 hours into it, and that includes the video time that I've taken to show you the process throughout. So that's it. There's the wrap up. There's the stairs, ready to go. Build them at my house, take them to the job, put them in, and then that'll be that. That job will be finished and wrapped up. There you go. One more look at them. Treads going up through there. All right. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you stay healthy and safe. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.